Well, Beanie Sigel at the time, and you can look it up if you like, just to be honest, was driving 2 Bentleys. I don't know how. It's impossible to drive 2 cars at one time. With his mama in the sticks and selling 800,000 records, I don't know what more can you do for somebody, at that point. What people choose to do when they attain that type of success, at some point you have to look in the mirror and look at yourself. Beanie Sigel had a record deal, a record label, and a clothing line. It never went platinum, ever. I don't know, in the history of rap, has anyone done so much with so little? So I don't even know what more can you do for a person at that point. A record label, a record deal, that's normal. A record label and a clothing line. So if that's not pushing a person, shit.
Here we have Jay-Z at a press conference for the Blueprint 3 album. You heard what he said, the details, the 800,000 units sold, 2 Bentleys, etc. We're gonna play Beanie Sigel's response to this, but I'm gonna tell you right now, anybody that's in the commentary, because I got this video posted on Instagram and I got it posted on Facebook. It's probably somewhere, it just got posted a few days ago and it's probably somewhere around 600,000 views, maybe more at this point, full of people saying how Beanie was done wrong and how there should have been more done for him. You're wrong, and I'm gonna tell you why. Here's Beanie Sigel's argument to that narrative.
Rockefeller was the rock. The fellas was state property. It's evident. Look at it's in footage, internet, Google it, Hot 97. Jay-Z ain't spit a rap on Hot 97 when we was up there tearing that thing up and setting it, edging it in stone that Rockefeller, I brought that street credibility as a real motherfucker to there. JC caught a pop record, Annie. But them street dudes who stayed loyal and held on to it, they held on to it because he had a real nigga like me behind him that would have did anything at that time. For my man, no matter who it was. No matter who it was. This is real rap, I'm talking to you, and I hope you understand this. But then, when you dissolve a company, even when you dissolve a company, your company give you a severance pay. And the severance pay, I'm not even looking for a monetary gift. I'm saying you in a position to put me in a position to get my own money. Then you make lines like I taught them to fish and they want me to cook a dish for them, all of this dish for them, or they got a dish for him. I ain't asked you to cook nothing for me to fish, because I came to the job with my own rod, my own hooks, and my own line. All I asked for you to do is point to the lake, and every now and then you could have shared the piece of bait, dog. I would have got my own fish. Because if you give me a fish, I'ma eat for today. But if you teach me how to fish, I'ma eat forever. And then I'ma teach my children how to fish. And they gonna teach their children how to fish. You understand what I'm saying? I told that to them. That's where them lines come from. So when I say you suck the youth out of people like Young Chris, and you got Young Chris, you know what I'm saying, and under the wing, and you taking sponging and you making this facade that you this person, and you taking the youth out of niggas and you using their talents for your advantage and for your growth and for your benefits, and then say at the end, all right, I'm done, I'm here already, so fuck y'all. As y'all can see, I ain't worrying about y'all, I'm already me. I got a problem with that, because I'm an MC, I listen to music. And I'm not saying that he was dissing me in particular in Blueprint 3. He was talking about shit as in a whole, and I was a part of that whole. So if don't nobody else speak up, that's why I said I'm not talking for free. I'm not talking for Chris, Neef. I ain't talking for none of them. Because if they don't speak up on their behalf, why should I? I'm talking about me. You said if your life was a movie, it was going to be the sequel. I ain't say that. You said if you never fear for war because seeds in the field. I ain't say that. You said that. You said you never go to jail because my man will shoot you. I ain't say that. You said that. And you believe that. Because you know I would. Not because I'm that ignorant and reckless, but because I'm just that person.
The streets know you real, B. They always knew that.
There's one portion that I'm not gonna play you that Beanie says last, and it proves the point of this discussion. So you got a guy here that's one of the dopest rappers from out of Philadelphia. I'll be honest, on a personal note, I love Beanie Sigel. I followed him for years. I remember the Backstage movie. He was super young beans, back there acting a fool, punching DJ Clue in the mouth on accident, boxing niggas, punching niggas outside the bus, you know, hitting niggas in the gut and dropping them down, and you know, just super playful, super cool, and super dope Beans. I think during that time frame of that tour, you know, Beans didn't have a full set. He would just come on stage and do like an acapella rhyme and just kill it. And he would later on go and drop two of the dopest albums. But nonetheless, I feel like even though I may not have the hardcore black and whites of his label deal and situation, I feel like Jay-Z is more than likely right on this situation. And I'm gonna tell you why. A lot of people were commenting and talking about how Jay-Z left. How did he expect the ship to continue? And that was wrong how he left all those guys. Listen, this is a business, and a big problem with a lot of rappers is they get involved in this and they don't know they're in business. You're in business, all right? You're in business. So a lot of niggas get involved in this and they just don't believe that this is a business, and they don't think they're in business. That's why most of y'all more than likely don't need to be independent, and you need to go sign a deal. You need to let somebody go ahead and dictate your future for a while until you learn the ropes and get the game understood, and give up your masters, you know, whatever you need to do, you know, if you feel like that's something that you need to do. So here's the thing about Beanie Sigel. 2003, we'll start there. Beans is arrested for allegedly punching a 53-year-old man in the face, fracturing his eye socket. He ends up getting found guilty misdemeanor assault, and 3 years after the offense, he was sentenced to 2 years probation. In April of 2003, Beans is arrested in South Philly during a traffic stop on a high-speed chase with the law, eventually culminating with Sigel throwing a 45 caliber semi-automatic out of the Escalade of which he was evading the police in. In 04, he got found guilty for that federal weapons charges and was sentenced to a year and a day in federal prison. So them is both charges in 03. Here we go again, 03. Sigel was arrested and charged with attempted murder stemming from a July 1st shooting of a dude named Terrence Speller. In that situation, Jay-Z, Dame Dash, and Beyonce came to the trial. So they actually came to court to support this man. The trial ended up in a hung jury in 2004. Beans was released from prison on federal weapons charges in 2005. Beans was released from prison. No. That ended in a hung jury in 04. My bad, excuse me. When Beanie was released from prison on federal weapons charges in 05, he began a retrial in which he was acquitted on the attempted murder charge. So he gets a pass on the attempted murder. All right, they throw that out the window. Oh, it continues. Sigel was jailed in November of 2005. Now, I just told you that he was released from prison on those federal weapons charges that they gave him that year and a day for in 05. And then they began a retrial of that attempted murder from the couple years before, and they threw it out. But hold on, 05, he gets in trouble for failing to pay child support of $27,000. They added $2,000 worth of fines to it. This happens in a Philadelphia family court by a judge that sentenced Sigel to 6 months in prison and told him to come off of the $30,000 roughly payment. Two Bentleys, $27,000 child support payment got you locked up. It goes on. Beanie was arrested on August 15th in 2009 after a traffic stop in Wrightstown, New Jersey. And then that traffic stop turns into a possession of marijuana charge. He was en route to go perform at a private event at this place called Kelly's Bar in New Jersey, and he was forced to cancel his appearance because of that. 2008, there were a bunch of parole violations. In January on that year of 08, Beans violated his probation by going on a trip to Atlantic City and having contact with a convicted felon. When you're a felon and you on whatever kind of restriction, you can't be with another felon. So he riding around with other felon, violated probation. It gets extended for 18 months because of that violation. That's just chilling with the wrong niggas. He was sentenced to 6 months in a halfway house in part of that 18 months. And in March of that year, he violates the terms of his probation again with a dirty drop. The drop has Xanax and Percocet in. You done got extended probations, then got put on house arrest, whatever that shit was. If it ain't house arrest, halfway house, you ain't even at the crib on the halfway house. You in a city-owned building with a bunch of other niggas like a boys' school type of shit. I ain't never been locked up in a halfway house situation, thank God. But those who have, you know how it is living in that, and you still violate after that. All right. Beans gets in trouble again, this time with the government in 2010. He was charged with tax fraud. Federal prosecutors alleged that C failed to pay his taxes on more than $1.5 million in earnings between 1999 and 2005. He was sentenced to 2 years in prison for that, a term that was set to begin on September 12th of 2010, but they postponed it until Beans was arrested in Delaware County in a traffic stop. And in that traffic stop, he had a firearm, he had a bottle of codeine syrup, prescription pills in a plastic bag. So if I got Vicodins, Percocets, Xanax, it better say my name on the script on the bottle. They find the pills, they find a pistol. His lawyer at the time confirmed that Beans was gonna serve 2 years immediately as a result of that arrest. All right, now that's what I was able to find. That's what's known about Beans and his whatever you dossier, and there's probably more later on. This is post. He goes on to get shot. I believe he loses a lung. I don't have the documentation of that in front of me. You can look that up yourself. Leave it in the comments. It affects his whole sound of speech, rather. It affected him sonically. He doesn't sound like the Beans that we know. He more so has a windy, like a kind of sound. I say all that to say this. You cannot be successful in any industry if you are continuing to go to jail, if you're continuing to wrestle with the law, if you're continuing to get yourself in all of these ridiculous situations, whether how minor they may be or how accidental they may be, and you got millions of dollars on the line, hundreds of thousands of dollars on the line. I don't care if you just got a regular job at McDonald's. Nigga, they will fire you because you keep going to jail, you missing work, it affects them doing business. These artists going to jail like this affects the business that is between them and their labels that they're signed to. In this case, Beans was affecting Rockefeller. He was affecting himself. For all of y'all that are on my Facebook page with this post, and Jay's a snake, Jay did this. Hey man, I don't know all of the practices that Jay did, but when we speaking of this situation right here, this man had more power over his situation and the downfall of it in that time than Jay himself did. Beans, he can say what he said in the video. Jay benefited off of Lil Chris and they Styles and whatever, Sharon Styles, and teach me how to fish, point out the lake. You made it to the lake, brother. You got the deal. The deal was the lake. The deal was coming in the room. Then you got to pay dues after that. You got to go to work, which he does with 2 solid ass albums. Not to mention the third. What's the third? Put it in the comments. I think it's The Becoming. Correct me if I'm wrong. I know in these chats of these videos, it's just common people that have an assumption about music and they don't really know how it works. The reason why I went back to this video is because there's a lesson in it to be learned to up and coming artists, to folks who are struggling with the ideal of what independence means as an artist or musician versus signing a deal. Now, I'm not gonna knock signing a deal, because if you have leverage and you know what you can do and how you can dictate the course of that deal that you sign, well then you can dictate your success in that situation, and you turn that situation into a partnership versus an employee-employer relationship. But whenever you almost always go into a deal with the record label as an employee-employer relationship, you're getting fucked. You're losing something of value. Publishing, masters. You're losing something, and you're gonna lose a lot of it because you went into it with no leverage, and you went into the situation like Beans, because I can tell he went into that situation thinking that, hey man, what he say in the video, just give me a worm so I can fish. Just give me, you done this, just give me, man, give me should never come out of your mouth. Maybe with the exception of the very first step, give me a shot. Give me a try. If that, but even if not, nigga, give yourself a try. Get independent. Build up leverage. Build up a crowd. Build up a platform. And transcend yourself. Make yourself a valuable commodity. Make yourself something that record labels seek you out for. Make them call and tear up your phone and blow you up. And then you've made yourself a product. You've made yourself a brand. I love both of these guys' music. Very impactful music from both of these men at that time. It's unfortunate what happened to Beans. He's somebody that I feel like should still be very relevant right now and should still be able to drop product right now consistently or sporadically and it get the big reception and attention that it deserves. But unfortunately, because of how this man chose to live his life and chose to give in to distractions and chose to make poor decisions, it got him to where he's at now. There's only so much you can put on Jay-Z. The problem with being an artist on a label, especially when they're black artists, it's more babysitting than anything. Nobody wants to play Babysitter's Club. Nobody wants to play Let Me Hold Your Hand and guide you. Niggas is not children. That's where you get Jay. You know, I hear them lines in my head from Jay. Niggas want to sit on my lap like Santa Claus, or however that line was. Correct it, put it in the comments. I keep hearing that Blueprint line. Beans, I ain't trying to change you. Just give you some game to make the transition from the street to the fame. My mama loves me. Look, you know the song. You know it's the last bar on the way out the song. Listen, man, if you're not built or designed to be independent, go sign yourself a deal. Get ready to sacrifice yourself for however long and for however much for the fame. Make the choice. What's more important, the fame? Because Beanie Sigel here is famous, right? You know Beans. I know Beans. Everybody remembers the dynasty, that point in time of Rockefeller. But how's Beans doing financially? How was he doing when the tax situation came from the government and trying to figure out how to pay that taxation on that $1.5 million that he made in between that time frame? $27,000 worth of child support. I mean, he might not have been doing too good then, and that was then during the height of Beans. So how you think he doing now? If it all depends on rap. Hopefully Beans got real estate. Hopefully he, done some sound investments. But if we looking at it just in the perspective of hip hop and the work and the revenue, I would have to say he's probably not doing too good right now. And I hope that he is. My point is if we basing it off of that, he's probably not. So make the choice. You want to be independent? Click the link in the description and sign up for that course that we got from Group 82 so that you can learn how to market yourself on social media the right way, so that you can learn how to really build your platforms and really put some foundation up under yourself as an independent artist. Or go sign a deal, with no leverage. Make sure you bring a jar of fucking Vaseline with you. I'm out. Thank y'all for watching. Please make sure that you like, subscribe, and share. Oh yeah, and this is to the point of what Jay was saying about Beans. This last line right here. This tells you everything about where Beans' head is at business-wise.
Enough rap. I'm in my bag, man. Listen, by the way, that thing that y'all in the stores, Best Buy, Broad Street Bully, that ain't my album or nothing. That's just somebody who got some old music from me.
Come on, man. When you gonna see Jay-Z have an album that he didn't release? Come on, man. Now you talking about a whole album that you ain't put out that somebody else did. Don't pay attention to that. Come on, man. That's the shit that he's talking about. Come on, man. You want to be independent? You want to do this on your own and do it the right way and keep more value of yourself when you do? Click the link down below in the description and join this Group 82 class where you can learn how to market your music the right way on social media and build a great foundation up underneath you. Make sure that you like, subscribe, and share. Omega Classic Records is the page and the name. Thanks for stopping by. Peace.